Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Wooden Railway Adventures, Episode 25. Save Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt and some workmen were expecting the Mountain Express route one day on the Island of Sodor. There had been many complaints from the passengers that the route was unsafe. Sir Topham Hatt believed them. The mountain had been here way before the Island of Sodor had been created. When Sir Topham Hatt had bought the island, he decided that he would drill through it and make a tunnel. But now, passengers were complaining that rocks were falling from the top and that they were hitting the coaches, and the passengers were very scared. So one day, Sir Topham Hatt had brought some workmen out to investigate. "It looks safe to me," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I don't know," said one of the workmen. "This foundation is very old. I can't blame them for being scared." "Oh, I guess you're right," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Well, how does it look over there? Everything all right?" Yep, said the workman. "Okay," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Let me go over there and check." And he started to walk across. "Don't," said the workman. "It's unsafe. That bridge is really old." And Sir Topham Hatt soon found out. The bridge suddenly collapsed beneath it. Sir Topham Hatt fell in. "Whoa!" he yelled, and he fell into there. "Oh no!" said the workman. "Go, get him! Get help, quick!" But unfortunately, the Flying Scotsman came rattling down the hill. "Ah!" he said, and he ran to the tunnel. "No!" said Thomas. "Sir Topham Hatt!" "What's the big deal?" asked the Flying Scotsman. "Sir Topham Hatt fell from the ledge and there into the tunnel." "Oh, it's so disastrous," he said. "Oh no," said the Flying Scotsman. "It's like I've committed suicide." "Don't worry," said Thomas. I hope he's not hurt." But unfortunately, the workmen checked in there, and there was no sign of Sir Topham Hatt, just his top hat. "Oh no," said the workman. "He's not in there. Whatever shall we do?" All the workmen were very sad. Thomas was sad too. "I can't believe it," said Thomas. "One second he's there, and the next he's not. It's like he disappeared by magic. I have to go alert the engines. They need to know." I'll do that," said Bulgy. "It'll be quicker if I go by road than by rail. Goodbye." "Thank you," said Thomas. Salty had also seen the entire thing too. "It's very sad," said Salty. "I know. Who's going to tell Lady Hat?" "I'll go do that," said Salty. She'll want to know right away." And he puffed away. Thomas was very sad. "Oh no," he said. "Who's going to run the railway now? I have to go talk to the engines at the yard." He left Annie and Clarabelle in the siding, and he puffed to the yard. When Thomas got to the yard, all the engines were sitting. They were very sad. "Have you guys heard what's happened?" asked Thomas. "Yep," said Edward. "It's very sad." "I know," said Henry. "It was all of a sudden, and I'm in shock." "So am I," said Gordon. "He was a very nice man," said Percy. "Yeah," said James. "He was going to run the railway now." But Edward wasn't so sure. Tell me the story again, Thomas." "Well, you didn't describe it that well." "Okay," said Thomas. "Well, the Topham Hatt's workmen were inspecting the mountain." "Yes," said Edward. "And he decided to walk across the old bridge. Unfortunately, it caved in while he walked across, and all of a sudden, he disappeared onto the track below." "Okay," said Edward. "And then the Flying Scotsman comes flying down the hill, and he goes right through the tunnel." "This is the worst part of it," said Duck. "And when he came out, Sir Topham Hatt wasn't in there, except for his top hat." Said Edward. I know it sounds true, but it still doesn't make sense." He said. "I'm going to have to go investigate. Goodbye." And he puffed away. Edward puffed up to the mountain. The workmen were still there. "Can I do some investigating?" asked Edward. "Sure," said the workmen. "We're all for that. We want to know what happened too." "Okay," he said. The workman told the story again. Said Edward. "It doesn't make sense." "Hey, I know. Let's go around the back here and see if there's anything back here." Edward went around the back side. "Oh my gosh," he said. "What is it? What is it?" asked the workman. "Look, it's Sir Topham Hatt. He's just sitting here." "Sir Topham Hatt," said Edward. "You're all right." I know I'm all right, he said. Wow, that fall took me by surprise. Huh, glad I didn't land on the track. We thought you landed on the track, said Edward. You did? Said Sir Topham Hatt. Tell me what you guys thought. And Edward told him the story. Oh my gosh, said Sir Topham Hatt. You really thought I fell on the track like that? Yes, said Edward. It was quite scary. And we're all glad that you're okay. Okay, said Sir Topham Hatt. Hey, let me go tell the engines right away and let them know that I'm all right. And he hopped into Edward. Edward popped into the yard. Guess what? Guess what? He said. What? Asked the engines. Look, Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt walked out of Edward. The engines were surprised. Hooray! They said. Sir Topham Hatt's all right. I thought we'd never see him again, said Oliver. I know, said Henry. I didn't know who was going to run the railway. Well, I'm just glad to know that everything is all right, and I hope that Lady Hat knows I'm all right. She does, said Edward. Okay, and you guys are all very useful engines.